So Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Price, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Bro Flying.
T-Boogie, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is, your favorite sports show, Gas presents sports for the culture. I'm tonight's host, your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials as always, man. We got another great show for you, filled with a lot of topics. NFL been going crazy, free agency, got a lot to get into. We're going to jump into the NBA, but first, as always, I'm going to let the fellas introduce themselves. I'm going to start with the top left tonight.
What up, man? Scruff, man. Y'all know me. I know y'all tired of me changing socials, but y'all catch me at Spiritual Alchemist 22, man. You feel me? I've been turning shit into gold since 1990, man, and including this show. Let's get it.
Hey man, yet another name change, man. It's hard to keep up with all the name changes over there. I got to kick it to the guy who almost never changes, and that's the top right.
T-Boogie, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Y'all know what it is with me, man. I'm here. I'm ready for a good show. Group chat got me riled up. You know, I was fresh off a can of Celsius, so I was booted up. You know what I'm saying? And I wore my fatigues because I'm ready to go to war tonight. So, you know, they got the right soldier tonight. Let's get it.
Okay.
Yeah. We might have to touch on them 49ers later on when we get to the NFL because it looks like they're just sell over there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you can help me out.
Throw that racist memorabilia in your background. Select.
I heard they cut the water boy.
Hey, last but certainly never least, one of the most entertaining people on the show. Bottom right, introduce yourself.
I just want to say shout out to all the finesse kings, man. Nobody does it better than Paul George. And then coming in second place today is the man himself, Daniel Jones, by getting, I think, 16 million from the Colts just
13.
to sit on the bench, or maybe stealing who T told us was supposed to be the second coming of Cam Newton, Anthony Richardson job soon. Who knows?
Yeah, he didn't steal nearly as much as he did from the Giants, y'all. It's a small fraction of what you guys paid him.
Yeah, it's easy to take that type of deal after the Giants already gave you a bag. But I tweeted it out earlier. It's interesting that you mentioned Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. Whoever wins that job or loses that job, I think they're done. Whoever loses that job, never going to be a starting quarterback again. You heard it here first. But before we get into the NFL and all the free agency, man, let's jump into the major headline from the NBA, and that's the Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James beef, man. Look, I hadn't even looked too much into it. I had heard about it. We just, did our research and our homework before the show. Apparently, Stephen A. has some comments about LeBron's son, Bronny, kind of questioned his fatherhood a bit, some would say. And then LeBron seen him at the game, pulled up on him during the game. I believe it was the third quarter. They had a little bit of an exchange, which Stephen A. Smith then referred to as some bullshit. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on this LeBron James, Stephen A. thing. Did Stephen A. take it too far? Was LeBron out of line? T, you're a father of a basketball player. You're a basketball coach. I'm gonna start with you on this one.
I mean, this is a daddy ball special, man. A dad confronting a coach or a fan or a fellow parent. This is a daddy ball special. This is LeBron acting like most of us dads have been a part of youth sports, man. Like at some point, if you do it long enough, you're going to find a situation where someone takes a shot at your kid, and you're going to feel like it's unjustified, and you turn into that that lion and protect the flock, to protect the herd. So that's all LeBron did, man. He saw Stephen A. He felt the way about it, and he approached him like a man. I thought that's what we wanted. I thought that's what we wanted in society. Men handling issues like men. There was no violence. There was no threat of violence. It was just a stern warning, and don't cross that line. And if Stephen A. doesn't like that, cross the line and see what happens. play that.
You know what? You know what's funny, man? I think a couple weeks ago you mentioned that the NBA was missing some beef, and I think you said it needed to be between the players. I don't think we saw it coming with the reporter, which is hilarious though, because like you said, it is very reminiscent of some youth sports where the dad will go say something to another parent, but Stephen A. Smith, though, like
Yeah.
that's who you pulled up on. To me, it feels very much like when Birdman pulled up on Charlemagne at the radio station. Like that's who you going to talk trash to. Scruff, jump in here, man.
Yeah, honestly, man, I do feel like, in life, you should you should tread lightly when talking about someone else's family, because you never know what could be taken and how it's going to be taken, right? Somebody brings up your dad, somebody brings up your son. We all know, in the hood, you know what I'm saying? You ain't talking about nobody mama, bro. You know what I'm saying? Sister, auntie might get some slack, but the main core, there's some possibility for some harsh reactions in that moment because it's this very personal. Now, with that being said, I think I don't know if I said this publicly on the show, but I think I did. I feel like the whole situation with LeBron and Bronny, I do feel like it's unfair to Bronny a little bit. It's unfair in the sense of like you really put a lot of pressure on this kid. That's my view of it. The pressure has been on for years now. The minute he said, "Yeah, Bronny, Bronny gonna follow in my footsteps." The minute he said, "I want to play with my son in the league," it began. Then he said, it was last year or 2 years ago. He said, "Yeah, Bronny better than like a bunch of people in the league." He said, "True." And then like, I'm not saying this had anything to do with what happened with his health, but like sometimes you got a lot of pressure on you and your health will suffer. I don't know if y'all ever experienced that. I have, like where you just got way too much going on and you're just really doing way too much. And then the pressure gets to you and then you actually experience health related symptoms, right? So not to say that that's why his heart stopped, because that would be, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. So now that he's in the league, he's got more pressure on him. And it's unfortunate, man. And obviously, yes, pressure comes with a certain level of opportunity. The opportunity was he got to the league on the strength of his dad, Bronny James play with his son, you know what I'm saying, all that. But at the same time, it's an unfair level of pressure because I'm gonna give you another example. Like, when the Sixers put in Justin Edwards, no one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? No one gives a fuck. Undrafted dude, decent player in college, much better than Bronny, if we're being honest. But no one cares. It's just okay, yeah, he's in there. Who cares? But when Bronny gets in the game, now garbage time becomes significant. People watching that shit, and like, the casuals, they're like, oh, go Bronny. And like, I was at the Wizards game when they were playing against the Lakers. There was a whole bunch of crowd reaction when Bronny got in the game. And if I'm being honest, it slightly was more like than when LeBron was in the game, which is crazy. But I just think he puts a lot of pressure on his son with this whole situation. But I'm not here to tell him how to parent his son. Shit. I don't have kids, but if I was to get my kid in the NBA, I would probably say, you know what? I think I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I can handle it from here. Okay. But like, I see why he was upset. So pulling up on them in the middle of the game, I do think that was some bullshit. Like, if we're being honest, bro, I do think that was some bullshit, bro. Because like, I get it. You want to be like, nah, don't talk about my son like that, whatever. I think it was after the game, it would have been a little bit better, in my opinion. But like, I don't know, bro. I thought that was crazy. To me, it shows a little bit of weakness. I think people might see it the opposite. They might say, nah, you pulling up on him. Nah, keep my son's name out your mouth. To me, it shows a little weakness because like you in the league, you in the NBA, and it's not regular. We're not gonna be able to relate to this, right? Because like people aren't on TV talking about us every day, right? But like these athletes, they have to have thick skin, man. Like, you know what I mean? And it's clear that LeBron has been like mentally hurting because like shit, 2 weeks ago he made a comment about the whole Anthony Edwards face of the league thing, and he was like, "Why would anyone be the face of the league? Why would anyone be the face of the league when I got to deal with this bullshit, these people talking all the time?" Like, sound like you a little bit in your feelings, bro, and like you need to relax. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pressure comes with privilege. Privilege comes with pressure. You know what I'm saying? Bron, you the GOAT. Like, according to a lot of people, right? So like that comes with some level of expectation. So like, I don't like I think you rise above that.
That's an excellent point, Scruff. Because I don't think LeBron in his time as on top as the best basketball player or one of the best, I don't think he's handled the media very well, especially in comparison to Jordan or Kobe or other players that have been in that GOAT conversation. I think LeBron's handling of the media has shown weakness throughout his whole career, and I think this is just another case to that. But G, man, what did you think about LeBron pulling up on Stephen A? Was that warranted?
Man, he did the right thing, man. Someone trying to question his father. Fuck all that shit, man. It's repping time. And shout out to one of the Morris twins holding my son's back, hold right behind him in case Stephen A needed his hairline pushed back and come further back. Fuck that shit. Man, see, I'm known to be ignorant. I love being ignorant. And that's the kind of time it called for being ignorant. Because ain't no one going to question my judgment as a father, especially when I've never been in a publicity stunt. I've never been known to be a wild father or doing anything, any sort of way being outlandish. He had to sell his son to get into the league. So, and that no one talked about anything. It's the moment that he got into the league. Yeah, man, why y'all gonna criticize my boy? We all knew he wasn't gonna be playing more than 2 to 3 minutes a game. And then y'all always want to plaster his thing. And he had to let it be known. Who's the biggest reporter right now on TV right now? It's Stephen A. And what better time to do this on the same night son allegedly got a new big contract? Man, yeah, man, you know what? Fuck you and that big day you having. And you know what? I'm going to bust the Knicks' ass on top of that. And while you sit there, man, you going to eat this shit. I know Stephen A. was sick as hell after that fourth quarter hit. He's like, man, I don't want to be here no more, man. I'll get the fuck up out of here, man. Fuck this shit. Ruin that whole man's night and in front of his agents. Man, fuck all that shit. It's repping time. The moment you try to question me as a father, it's one thing you question me as a basketball player. Fuck it. Everybody got the right to critique me as however you want. But you're not going to tell me how to do my job as a dad. If that's the case, man, let's get this fade going. And matter of fact, Paul LeBron James for not sicking his boys on him, man. Man, go ahead, man. Slap the popcorn out of his hand. Man, and that drink. Slap it on your man's other hand. Yeah, I'm getting real ignorant.
You made some decent points, right? Like I agree with you on the point of
people don't respect you when you're too nice.
I agree with you on the point of you got to rep for your kids, right? If LeBron felt some type of way that his fatherhood was questioned, then you definitely got to say something to Stephen A. Smith. I think it's corny as hell to do it in the third quarter of a basketball game. What did Stephen A. just get there in the third quarter? You mean to tell me you played the whole first half and then all of a sudden remembered he was talking shit about you and your son and you got real mad and had to go say something?
He had to slow it down because they were down from the Knicks. He can't go there.
It was corny. It was corny and it was poor handling of the media. You know what he should have done is drop 50 or 60 on the Knicks. And then I'm mad about. He should have dropped 50 or 60 and then went and said something to Stephen A.
He dropped the triple-double on them. What are you talking about?
To pull up, all right, well, he should have all that energy that he had, he should have pulled up at the end of the game. To pull up in the third quarter with that type of energy, like I'm gonna do something to you. Like, how old is Stephen A. Smith? What's the size advantage here? Like, y'all pulling up on old men now? Like y'all fighting grandpas now? Be for real. Like,
right. Scrawny, scrimpy ass old dude too with that, bro.
And the other LeBron issue James, I have with it, you want to talk about, everybody says, I got my son in the NBA, You know what comes with that, bro? Being talked about on First Take, bro. Yeah. Like, how many other people have busted their ass to get into the league and would love to be talked about on First Take?
Son, that's what it was. Like, everybody knew, even LeBron James knew, like, yo, dog, it's going to take a while to get in. But don't start questioning him as a father. Those quotes were sounding like you're questioning him as a pops.
I mean, here's the thing.
Why you letting your son play out there? He garbage.
No, that's fair, but the way you handle it after is critical.
Yeah.
Go ahead, T.
You gotta be careful what you ask for, man.
Man, what you think? Shorty gonna let him walk inside back at that house? You ain't check him. You waited till everything was all smooth and sweet? Fuck no. You make sure he having a horrible time there. You gotta make people feel real uncomfortable.
Nah, but
especially when it's
G,
record
he wanted his son to be in the NBA, right? This is what he wanted, right?
But this
He
ain't
wanted
about
his
that.
son to be in the
This about
NBA.
making Stephen A. feel uncomfortable.
And
That's
nah,
what
that's
it's
what
about.
comes with the territory, G.
Yep.
People are gonna talk about you on First Take. You're an
Nah.
NBA player. They're gonna talk about you, bro. That is part of the game. If you can't
And he
handle
gets
that, then you should have
But
told him to
think
go be a
about
librarian or some
ops.
shit, bro.
Bro, those quotes that he alluded to sounded like he was questioning LeBron James as a dad. And I'm sure he doesn't mind you tell me my son is bum. Well, look how long he's been how many times he's on the play. He's not playing more than 3 minutes. And when he's starting when everybody else is sitting. So what he started
It's the media, bro. What you expect? So you expect him to go on there and just give them all flowers and daisies, bro? Like that's his job.
See, I gotta get some more thoughts from you on this because I got a question. Your son plays. You've coached your son. Have you ever had any situation similar to this where you felt like you had to say something to another parent or another coach that was coaching your son, or you know what I'm saying? Like how would you have gone about a similar situation in this case?
I mean,
so it's not a coach. It's a critic now. It's not a coach. It's a critic.
I mean,
let him talk.
Based on real life, like history, like things that have actually happened. Like I've had other coaches talk to my son during the game. I've had other players. I've had the opposing fans. I've had fans on my side. I've had refs, and in a critical fashion. I've had people criticize my parenting, not necessarily my coaching, but like my parenting, how I'm going about raising an athlete. And I never engaged in the conversation. I never engaged in the debate. We had a 7-on-7 game. We've had multiple 7-on-7 games where, Ron, you're familiar with 7-on-7. The coaches are kind of just out there on the field with the kids. I've had a rival coach like talking to my son between plays, like he's supposed to be in the huddle and the coach is saying, you're only throwing it across the middle. You can only throw to one person. You know what I'm saying? And this is he's 11 now, this is a 10-year-old. But like, I let him deal with that because that criticism, that toxicity comes with being an athlete. Like, you need to learn before the big stage. You know what I'm saying? You need to learn that right now. I might not be here to protect you. And if it was violence, then okay, I'm jumping in, right? If they're cursing them out, I'm jumping in. But I mean, literally last weekend, the coach was telling him you can't go left. Fan was telling him rebound, that's coming off. You can't shoot, and I let him handle it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of hecklers at basketball games. I don't know if people are aware of that. There's a fair amount of hecklers at middle school, high school. If you go to those games, there's a decent amount of hecklers in the stands.
If you watch the clip I just posted over the weekend, like he hits a three and he turns around and he's talking back to the fans. I wouldn't deal with LeBron did, but I get it. I'm not judging it. I'm not criticizing it. I get it. But I also get Stephen A's side. I also get the fact that you have a job to do and you are parenting in the public as a celebrity, as a superstar, as the biggest name in the sport. You open yourself up to criticism when you start parenting in the public. And that goes for singers, rappers, actors, actresses, presidents. When you start parenting in public, that opens up debate and conversation. And with that can come criticism. And I don't feel like anything was wrong on both sides. I think we should get to a place in society where people hold the people in power accountable. If you've been paying attention to real life, you know what I mean. I thought Stephen A was fair. He didn't say your son's a bum. You shouldn't have put him in the league. He just said, come on now. He just said, all right, this is getting too far. He didn't specifically take a shot at Bronny. He didn't specifically take a shot at Bron. He just said, this is a gimmick. This is a stunt. And
hey, and to be fair, we've said the same thing on this show. Like we had a long discussion where we all gave Bron his props And nobody on this show, and y'all can go back and watch. It's all on YouTube here. Subscribe while you at it. But we've all said on this show that what he did, we all would have done. Scruff just said that a few minutes ago. But at the same time, to be fair, because we are sports for the culture, you got to, at some point, you do got to be critical of Bronny and his actual game and what he does as a basketball player. Because to your point, T, when your son was dealing with hecklers, he hit a shot, looked back at them, and he shut them up. And to me, that's the beauty of sports. I've talked trash about a lot of players. I do it fairly often. Matt Stafford on the show, I talk trash about him all season, goes and win a Super Bowl. That's what you do with sports. When people doubt you, instead of engaging in, fisticuffs, you should shut them up with your play on the sports. That's the best way to do it. And to me, if you're quote unquote the king, if you're the greatest basketball player of all time, that's how you should handle your business, not with some Birdman-esque type of stunt where you pull up on a guy who's not gonna fight you back. Like what was gonna happen? LeBron was gonna beat up Stephen A in the middle of a game.
No. I got a question for G, because we're seeing the emergence of the superstar athlete's kid. So Gilbert has a son, Boozer has twins, Melo has a son. These guys are hitting the league. As a media personality, are they off limits? Like, do you have to handle them with kid gloves because of your relationship with the dad or who the dad is? Like if Elijah Arenas goes out there and stinks it up, can I say, hey, I don't feel like his father prepared him for this moment, or do I got to fight you to get that off?
No, that's not fair. It's not fair, because then what we doing here? We're not gonna talk about anyone who dad was a former player, right? So what is that like? Take a third of the league away? Klay Thompson, you can't talk about him. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about, I don't know, KJ Martin.
I mean, if we cross the sports, technically Pat Mahomes' dad played baseball, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these players have had a parent who's pretty athletic.
Who's the one that's making these comments? This has been a reporter that been, let's say this Skip Bayless talking about Bronny James on the wrong light, always criticizing him. Oh, well, you're like, well, 0.3 for a rebound, 0.3 for assists, all this kind of crap. Would you call it as criticism? Or just,
none of those things are wrong, though. And that's my main point.
Who's it coming from as well? Like, take into consideration who's the one that's giving these narratives. It has been somebody that's been dogging your father, pause, that's been criticizing your pops his whole career, and now he gets a chance to do it to his son. And not one time is he gonna rave about him about being a good player. All he's gonna do is just talk about his mistakes. So at one point, who's the one that's allowed to criticize them? Is it
to your point, G. To your point, if I have a reporter who's been talking shit about me my entire career, and then I bring my son into the league, and I know my son isn't that great, I'm not gonna be shocked at all when that reporter starts talking shit about my son. I'm gonna be fully prepared for that already, because that should be a given.
See, but that's not the case, G. No, but that's not the case, G, because it's not. No,
fuck out of here.
No, because it's not Skip Bayless. No, but it's not Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless has been unanimously against LeBron his whole career, bro.
I'm gonna be a civilized individual. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be man. Fuck all that.
Stephen A. has given LeBron credit. He's given his flowers. He's been a supporter of LeBron James. He's been a supporter. You want him to say, you just want him to say only good things about him all the time, and that's not how this shit works.
No, or just don't say nothing at all.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's how it works. That's what your mom taught you in real life, bro. This is media.
We live in LeBron James' world. His son, a lot of people.
We don't live in LeBron James' world. What are you talking about?
Starting in NBA games and going to the G League. Name how many other players could do that. Shit, D-Wade can't even get his son in the NBA.
Well, we just watched it in football, so it's not like it's this impossible task. We literally just watched Dion pull Shador and Shiloh up. So
right,
and can you call, because Shiloh looking like he undraftable? Can you call him?
I think you can make the case for Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Like, I think his dad did a lot to get him where he's at. Not that he's not a good
Nah. My
player.
son was
Like,
a
he's a
problem in
dog,
Ohio
but I'm
State.
saying, like, it's having what LeBron is obviously, considered to be one of the GOATs. So he's getting a lot of spotlight, a lot of pressure for this. But he's not the only player who's got his son in the league, but he is getting a lot of criticism because his son might not be that good. And I think that's fair.
Man, Luke McCaffrey can't catch no football, man.
I mean, right. And Ed is still at the games, not talking shit to no reporters.
Right.
Son can't even get no playing time.
I
Hey,
mean,
man, but
this is part of course for LeBron, man. Now I'm in my bag. This is part of course for LeBron. LeBron has shown himself throughout his entire career not to be able to handle himself well in high situations, like high pressure situations, right? Like he hasn't been clutch. This is a guy that passed the ball to Danny Green. Now he's trying to pass. Now he wants Stephen A to pass the buck. Like, no. What you did was a stunt. It got called out as a stunt, and you're mad you got called out. Bro, no, man up. It was a stunt when you went to Miami and you left Cleveland and you not 6, not 7, not 8. Stunt. It's constructing all these rosters every stop you go. Like,
Bro, it ain't a stunt to leave Cleveland to go to Miami. Let's be realistic.
No, but making a whole televised show about it was.
Then there you go. You say that. Cleveland to Miami, that ain't no stunt.
Either way, when you start pulling stunts, people are well within their right to call you out on said stunt.
Yeah.
If your friend pull a stunt, you're gonna call him out. If your girl pull a stunt, you're gonna call her out. Like, outside of your parents, that might be the only people. Like Bronny might not can call out LeBron, but
and he might want to.
Parents typically get a different set of rules. But yeah, man, when you see a stunt, most times people call it out because it almost feels like you're trying to deceive us. It almost feels like you're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. You told us Bronny was better than people that were currently in the NBA. Then you got him to he wasn't better than people in college. Then you got him to the NBA and you played him in a game that he didn't deserve to be in so you could take pictures together. Mm-hmm. Listen, man.
Hey, we called it on this show when it happened, bro. Like, we all sat here and said it was a stunt. And, now that, the big dog, the $100 million dog, who I'm a fan of Stephen A. Smith. Maybe that's why I'm a little impartial to LeBron pulling up on him the way he did. Because I remember the days, I used to watch First Take very often during the days when people would say Stephen A. Smith was glazing LeBron. There was a time where, how Shannon is, people kind of looked at Stephen A. like that with LeBron. And as soon as Stephen A. started being a little bit more fair with his takes and, not just started actually giving him a little bit of criticism, everything switched and it shifted. So for LeBron to pull up on him in this former fashion, when we all know that they could have handled this behind closed doors, is just corny to me. And to T's point, is 100% a stunt. So.
Also, we got to take in consideration, Stephen A. is, in my opinion, effectively the LeBron of his profession.
Yes.
Like, bro, they broke the news that Stephen A. got a contract like it came from Shams. I got a notification that Stephen A. got a contract. Like, bro, in the history of sports media personalities, never been seen before. Been seen before. So you literally have the biggest player barking at the biggest media personality. Bro, this is great for all parties. It's great for ESPN. This is great for Stephen A. This is great for LeBron. This is great for Bron. Like, all attention is good attention when you're in that business. Like, this is great for all parties.
And also, like, Stephen A. has a responsibility, in my opinion, as a journalist. Maybe that doesn't mean shit in this era where, no disrespect, because we're on a podcast right now. People just getting on podcasts and just saying whatever. But, like, there is a responsibility to be objective, right? So if he's out there just like, sucking LeBron because like that's what's like, okay, now, we don't want to say nothing bad about LeBron, then he's not doing his job. And you don't get $100 million contract not doing your job.
Right. And to be fair, man, and obviously First Take has grown and been it's a monster now. To T's point, Stephen A. basically is the LeBron of the profession, and that comes with all kinds of stuff. But the basis of a show like First Take is supposed to be objective. It's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, giving both sides of something. So I don't feel like Stephen A was even close to out of line. I think maybe Stephen A's in on it. Maybe it's a little WWE-ish. I don't know. Maybe they're all doing this to garner attention because, like you said, they just announced the contract. Then all this happens. It's going to be a topic on First Take. It's a topic here tonight. It's great content.
How about this? This is my last point. And like I said, I thought it was fair on both sides, but since when can a player confront a fan?
Yeah, that's a fine.
like, you're in the stands.
Yeah, that's a fine. When Westbrook did it, it was a fine.
Hey, I can see if Stephen A had a floor seat, you went up a couple rows.
Hey, it's different when you're the king, I guess. But let's keep it pushing from the NBA to the NFL because there's a ton of crazy moves going on with free agency right now. T's also got to defend whatever the hell his 49ers are doing, or it really aren't doing because they ain't doing much. But let's start with the quarterbacks, though, man. We got a couple quarterbacks that just signed some deals and a couple quarterbacks that are still in the open market. So I want to get y'all's thoughts on the ones that signed, and then I'm going to ask about where you think some of these other guys could end up. Let's start with the biggest deal, and that's Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks. He signed with the Seahawks for $100 million for 3 years. What do y'all think about Sam Darnold going to Seattle after they traded Geno to the Raiders?
That's a big deal. What is that, like 33 per year?
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's the biggest deal that's been signed so far.
No.
For the quarterbacks, who else? In free agency?
Yes.
This summer? I mean, spring?
No, the DM, what's his name?
Well, no, I'm talking about just the quarterbacks. It's been bigger deals, but I'm talking about just the quarterback.
Yeah, honestly, when I can think about the deal with Sam Darnold in Seattle, I think you guys better know what the fuck you guys are doing. Because, like, I don't get it. I'm not very high on Sam Darnold. He had a good season last year with the best receiver in the NFL and a pretty good number 2 and a pretty good offense. Now you take him to Seattle where basically they just unloaded 2 of their best receivers. And while I do have the utmost faith in Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think he's ready for a huge breakout year this year. It's not Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a situation where he's going to have to really show himself. So I think it's very interesting, and I don't see it playing out well for them. But I'm open to being wrong, but I don't see it.
T, as a 49ers fan in NFC West, man, Sam Darnold bringing any fear to the 49ers?
I mean, he's a very capable quarterback. No, not fear. I mean, no, I think if Seattle thought they were a threat, I don't think they'd go out and get Darnold. I think this is more of an experiment to kind of kick the tires, see what he has, as they kind of retool. Like, that's a franchise where, like, they've kind of been stuck in that middle since Pete Carroll left. Like, they're not the worst in the league, but they're not the best in the league. So, as a threat, no, I don't think Darnold and the Seahawks are a threat. But I mean, anything can happen in football, man. You hit on a draft pick, and next thing you know, your team's out of here. Ask the Commanders.
Yeah, you got to hit on that quarterback draft pick though, which we'll see what Seattle does. G-Man, do you think Sam Darnold's going to do anything out west?
He was a Jets. Once you're a Jets, you're always a Jets.
A Jet?
What are you talking about?
Geno was a Jet.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah, and what happens with that?
What happened with that is he revitalized his career, and if we're being honest, he's the reason that Seattle.
You get any playoff wins?
Hey, Geno, that's an interesting point though. Y'all think Geno does anything with the Raiders after Seattle shipped him off?
I do. I feel strongly the opposite way of how I felt about Sam Darnold. I feel about Geno the opposite way. I feel like the Raiders got the steal of the quarterback free agency period by getting Geno Smith. Now, Geno Smith is not a guy who's going to be like, all pro or anything like that. But this man has been fourth in, I think it was quarterback completion percentage since he's been a starter with Seattle. I don't think that's not significant. I think that means something. Also think that he's turned around his career. You know, I think we're in an era where quarterbacks can turn around their career. So I'm totally open to guys that flamed out with a bad team and then had another opportunity. And he had to wait his turn. And you know what he said? He said, they wrote me off, but I ain't wrote back. I ain't right back. I still love when he said that. But I think the Geno Smith signing was super under the radar. And like the Raiders were actually like, obviously they were a bad team last year, but like they did considering that they had no quarterback. Now they have a good quarterback and it gives them time. Like they can go and get a quarterback and develop him behind Geno if they want. They could do that next year. They don't have to be in a rush. And like, I like that. I think he's very capable. I think that they have a good team. I really do. They're in the process of having a good team, I'll just say. They have Brock Bowers, great tight end, right? Didn't they just sign a receiver? Or maybe not, they didn't. But
they need some work, but I think Geno is a good stopgap, right? Like Geno at least keeps you stable enough to where you can bring in some more pieces and start building. And maybe if you build quick enough, he might lead you a playoff win or two, maybe.
Biggest thing is like let's look at the teams and let's look at what their improvement is, win over win. So like I think that's going to be a huge that's a 4-5 win addition.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely an upgrade from what they had because how many games did they win last year anyway? Right. 4. So I mean he might get them to 8 or 9 wins. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see them getting 8 or 9 wins. Yes, and that's big. That's twice as many wins.
Geno's gonna go out there and compete.
Yeah. All right. It's a couple other signings I wanted to get y'all's opinion on. Justin Fields went to the Jets, 2 years, $40 million. Daniel Jones ended up with the Colts. And Jimmy G, man, he's still out here getting a paycheck. He signed with the Rams. I just wanted to mention him before we get to the 49ers. But between Justin Fields and Daniel Jones, which one do y'all think was the better signing? And who will have a better 2025? Jump on that.
You just talked about a guy that's going to become a backup and a guy that's about to get the starting job. What are we talking about?
It's not a fair comparison.
Do you think Daniel Jones is going to be a backup?
Duh. I mean, why wouldn't he be a backup?
Okay, well, let's have that conversation because I'm not of the belief that Daniel Jones is going to go to Indianapolis and back up Anthony Richardson. I think he beats him out in preseason. I really do.
I think that'd be absurd,
but for me, the Jets got the biggest deal. I mean, I know Nick alluded to Geno being the biggest deal. For me, personally, it's the Jets. You get Justin Fields with one of the receivers he played in college with, and then I think now if you're the Jets, you're not worrying about drafting a QB this year. You're drafting about now offensive weapons because your defense is still good, decent enough to be a top 15 defense, and now you just got build around your offense. I mean, Breece Hall is great, and then Wilson. So you just really need a number 2 receiver, and then you go from there with Smith. I mean, with Fields. Fields is a good quarterback, man.
Did you just say about Sam Darnold, once a Jet, always a Jet? Like you can't get that stink off you, and now you're gonna try to tell me that Justin Fields is gonna be good with the Jets? I'm a Justin Fields fan, and I hate this. I hated this as soon as I saw the notification, bro. This is the end of Justin Fields' career. It's over. It's done. He's cooked. He's gonna go to the Jets. They're gonna be trash, and he's gonna be done. He'll be lucky to be a backup after this. And as far as Daniel Jones, I think y'all are. What, did Anthony Richardson finish the season as the starting quarterback? Like, what is there some given? Did I miss something that says he's gonna roll out as the undisputed number 1?
Yes, he did finish the job, man. And
hey, look, if Joe Flacco can win the job in the middle of the season, I think Daniel Jones will have a strong chance going into training camp.
Yo, you want to bet?
I'll put a dub on that. I'll put a dub that Daniel Jones will start more games than Anthony Richardson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I put a dub. I got to counter this because this is crazy. I mean, I love your take just because I remember when T talked about Anthony Richardson, he thought this dude was going to be the biggest thing since Cam Newton. I remember it. Bro, you don't remember what you said? Mind you, we had a live podcast.
I said, run the tape. I said Anthony Richardson would have the best fantasy year. That was the question. And he was leading the rookie quarterbacks until he got hurt for the season.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you.
I'm gonna look at the taste. So I remember you picked this man up. You even called this man Cam too.
No, I don't know, but I think with the Colts situation, I like the signing of Daniel Jones for this reason. Not that I think that he's going to become the starter, but if like shit flames out and you got to put him in, he's not the worst guy you could put in, I guess. But I think you bring in a guy like Daniel Jones to push the starter. Like I think that's the goal, is to push him. And if you got the budget, you do it. Because like right now he's still on a rookie deal. The Colts have been in a QB carousel since Andrew Luck retired, right? So they've had a hard time finding their guy. So like I think having a guy that's like a pro who's been a starter, and you got somebody, you know, like that's on the up and coming Anthony Richardson, it's put up or shut up time for Anthony Richardson. So I think that it's going to be. I personally think he's gonna thrive and he's gonna take a step forward this year, but we'll see. Now when it comes to Justin Fields, I will say this: I do like the signing. But man, shout out Justin Fields' agents, because like this man was almost out of the league last year, backup quarterback type shit potentially, and they just got this man $30-40 million guarantee. I'm pretty impressed by that. So and I got him in fantasy in my dynasty league, so let's go.
How many years did Fields sign for?
2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed.
That's nothing.
Now to put it in perspective, Geno makes 25 a year.
Those are
in Jersey, Texas, he probably getting like a cool 12.
Those are stopgap contracts. Those are, we don't believe, we're not willing to give you any long-term future here. I do like the signing though, right? Because at least Justin Fields can move the chains with his feet, and he's showed the ability to throw the ball. They got young talent. He'll fit in with the locker room. They should be able to beat the Patriots. Maybe split with Miami. But either way, the Jets are looking at a bottom 10 finish. All these teams we named are finishing in the bottom 10. They're all finishing in the bottom 10. The Colts are that signing probably got a couple people fired. Like you bring in a quarterback to push the first round draft pick with a quarterback that should have had people come in to push him. Like, listen, man, the math not laughing. The Colts have like you said, they've been in quarterback hell, and they're not getting out of it. I do think I'm with Rome. I don't know who wins the starting job, but Daniel Jones is the better quarterback. Daniel Jones will start more games this season.
Yeah, you want to put a dub on it too?
I mean,
it's funny, G.
That's
You really
like
I can tell you got some feelings about this, and it's funny because this is the guy that y'all had to pay instead of Saquon. So
they don't have anybody to throw the ball to, too. It's not like
what are you talking about?
Nah, you bugging. They got Pittman. They got Downs, had a great year last year, and there's a third guy.
Got Adonai Mitchell. They got they got the white kid that caught a lot of flies.
Jonathan Taylor?
14.
That team's not that good, man.
Bro, this is about to be an easy dub, G.
Bro, they were pretty close to making the playoffs, if we're being honest.
Anthony Richardson better be studying right now as we speak, because what's going to happen is Daniel Jones is going to come in and he's going to make the offense look functional. That's it. He's not even going to make them do nothing spectacular, do nothing crazy. They're just going to look functional. And as a guy who's coached football, I'm telling you right now, those coaches are going to say, hey, give me the quarterback that can go out there and do what I just told him to do, as opposed to the guy that's, I need to breathe. The coach, give me some water. Like, nah, get out of here, bro. Like, the writing is on the wall for Anthony Richardson, bro.
It's extremely frustrating to Dallas.
So you like the Whites quarterback to win?
In this situation, hell yeah. In this situation, absolutely, bro. Like, give me the QB that can call the play, run the play. And if we get to the game and he starts making mistakes as a coach, I'd rather live with that than try to bring along a guy who at this point should have already been brought along. We talk about the NFL too. These coaches are getting paid their job. They get fired too. So I don't know, like you telling me I got to have the project of Anthony Richardson, or, you know, I already know what I got in Daniel Jones, something functional.
When's the last time they brought in a team's brought in a quarterback to push a guy and it worked?
Yeah, push him out the way.
Never.
That's
Like,
typically what happens. You're not gonna lie.
yeah, like when they start bringing in guys to push you, typically, yeah, they push you out the way.
Jalen Hurts
I
comes
don't
to
think
mind.
Anthony Richardson is a bum. I think it's a matter of experience. He just doesn't have, similar to Trey Lance. Like, you got tools, you got skill set. You need time. You need to play through those mistakes. This was the old days. He'd get 2 seasons to see what he has. He needs 20, 30 games at that position to get a feel for it. But it is what it is.
Wait, didn't y'all bring in Darnold to push Purdy?
No.
Okay.
No, they brought in Darnold to push Jimmy G.
Right.
Oh, okay. And that didn't work out very well. I see.
No. Purdy didn't need a push, man. It was always his team. But I've always been a big Darnold fan. I've been a Darnold fan since college. I got tweets. Darnold and Baker were my favorite quarterbacks in that draft. Darnold has talent. But these are all teams that will be drafting in the top 10. Unless Scruff, Jackson Smith, if he can turn into some sort of Justin Jefferson, because we've seen the ability for Darnold to hook up with one receiver. If they can get some real chemistry going, maybe they can make something shake.
I'm not gonna lie, Smith is a problem because he won a lot of games, a lot of fantasy games for me.
And I like the coach. I like
He just getting started too. Yeah, I like Seattle. I like their culture.
Yeah, of the QBs we talked about so far, I would say Sam Darnold in Seattle, definitely the best situation, and definitely the most potential to make some real noise. Real quick, I'm gonna name some QBs that are left. We're gonna play GM real fast. I want to get y'all's thoughts and see who you would pick if you were in need of a quarterback. We got Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston still in the free agent pool. Those 3 QBs on the table. Scruff, you're the GM. Your team desperately needs a QB. Who of those 3 are you picking up?
I'm gonna tell you what team should pick him up too. The answer is Aaron Rodgers, and the answer is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, if they want to go back to Russ, go for it. I'm not opposed to that either. But you let Fields walk, so now you're basically stuck with Russ or Rodgers. They brought in DK Metcalf, right? Now Russ does have some experience with DK, so maybe it makes sense to bring in Russ. But I think, why not bring in Rodgers? Because basically, he's a veteran quarterback, man. I feel like he can make something happen for them. But it's interesting because culturally, he's not a fit. But they should be okay. Let him do whatever you got to do, jump in the cave and whatever, and Tomlin take care of the rest.
Yeah, that would be an interesting ass dynamic, man. Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. That would be entertaining to say the least. T, man, who would you take of those 3 QBs?
Jameis. If I'm taking Jameis, I don't want. Listen, man. If you put Jameis on that Steelers team with 2 weapons, Jameis is gonna throw you 5,000 yards, man.
He's gonna throw you out of the game, bro.
Listen. The other 2 quarterbacks have proven to throw you out of games. What they haven't done is throw you in games. I've seen Jameis keep a team alive with no receivers, with relatively no talent, and Jameis is marching down the field. Eventually, you throw a pick because you're playing hero ball. But those other 2 heroes, people don't like them, they're not likable personalities, and they haven't produced. I mean, Russ did okay, but why? If you got to pick one of those guys, pick the youngest guy.
Nah. Tomlin doesn't like guys that turn the ball over.
Hey,
you don't win like that. Not the way the Steelers win. Steelers grind out games by taking care of football.
Listen, man, I'm tired of this Mike Tomlin stuff. When the last time Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl? When the last time Mike Tomlin won a playoff game?
Which is why he needs to unite with Aaron Rodgers, not Jameis Winston.
Aaron Rodgers needs to take some ayahuasca and sit down somewhere.
Nah.
Listen,
see,
man.
I think my belief is that I agree with G a little bit, which was that the Jets is that's bad juju, man. That's not a good place to go. Look at Darnold. Darnold left. Now he's the man, right? Oh, yeah, best quarterback signing of the offseason, right? Geno Smith. All these quarterbacks left the Jets and they doing better. They doing better. They healthy. They living good, feeling better. You know what I'm saying? So the Jets was the dysfunction. Aaron Rodgers is not the dysfunction.
Aaron Rodgers is a bum. Like
No.
That was a statement right there, Scruff. Aaron Rodgers was not the dysfunction the
He's
Jets
not.
were. That's
I
mean,
bro, the Jets feel like they're better with a backup than Aaron Rodgers.
He's not a backup. He should have been a starter. He should have never left Chicago, for being honest.
He was a backup to somebody that's on this list.
But that was a very unique situation. But obviously, he's not a backup, because if that was the case, then why didn't the Jets sign Russell Wilson?
Okay, so now you're talking about maybe a number 2 and number 3 quarterback. Like I don't know what your point is. Like he was a backup to a guy that they don't even want anymore. But
he also got them to 6 wins, if I'm not mistaken, 5-2, 6 wins. I can't remember. But also, I'll say this. Let me retract my previous statement. Aaron Rodgers was part of the dysfunction with the Jets. But when you have, it's like this, man. You got to have your house in order. You know, it's like Game of Thrones. You got to have your shit together. You got to have your house in order. But if you don't have your shit together and you let somebody in and then they start telling you what to do because you don't have a culture of your own, then you out here doing whatever. But the Steelers have a culture. Aaron Rodgers can't fuck that culture up.
Bro,
I promise you he can't. No,
Aaron Rodgers is Joffrey. He came in and killed Ned Stark. Robert Saleh got his head chopped off. He was doing fine. And the team got worse. And not to mention, you can't throw the ball to Devontae Adams. But we supposed to give you DK and Pickens. You can't get the ball to Devontae Adams, and they talk about easy T. Nah, buddy. Listen, man. I've had it. I've had it with the mediocre white guy, getting all the praise and all the accolades. Like I get it. We got enough of that from Trump and Elon. Like these mediocre guys are winning. Aaron Rodgers is not winning though. He's absolutely he's statistically not winning. He does not deserve to be starting on a roster. Somebody needs to come in and push Aaron Rodgers if he gets a job. You need to bring in someone to push him. Aaron Rodgers needs a camp battle. He doesn't need to have a throne. You're going to send that man to a storied franchise. No.
Bro, the Steelers have been a quarterback away. Nah, the Steelers have been a quarterback away, man. They need someone that's going to be able to air the ball out. They got 2 guys that are going to be deep threat guys. Now, if they want, like I said, if they want to go back to Russell Wilson, I'm cool with that. But Russell Wilson's arm ran out of juice at the end of the season last year.
Who has the most arm talent out of that bunch?
We know Aaron Rodgers is the best arm out of that bunch.
Not no more.
Accuracy he used to have the best arm. Jameis has the current best arm out of that bunch. Well, listen, we watched Jameis have epic performances. There's not one single memorable performance from Aaron Rodgers last year. You had Breece Hall. Sure. Bro, you had Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Devontae Adams, Randall.
Bro, the Jets were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers. He was hurt the year before. He's back this year. They're supposed to be in a Super Bowl, and they were nowhere near it. They weren't even a playoff contender.
Overestimated how good the Jets were, if I'm being honest. I think they really overestimated how good they were. I really do, especially that defense.
When the Jets were cooking my Commanders in training camp practices, everybody thought the Jets were surefire Super Bowl contenders, and look what happened. They fell apart in large part because of Aaron Rodgers. I tend to agree with T on this. If I was picking these 3, I'd pick Jameis Winston. But the team I want him to go to is the New York Giants. I would love to see famous Jameis in New York, playing with Big Blue, man. 1, that New York market, the media, that would be very entertaining. And 2, my Commanders would get a ton of picks off of them, and we definitely beat the Giants twice. So hopefully Jameis finds his way to New York.
Jameis would beat you, bro.
Nah.
Oh, you tripping, bro.
Listen, Jameis.
Nah, he might though. I do like Jameis Winston.
Maybe he'll win you games that you wouldn't expect to win.
Exactly.
One thing I'll say about Jameis, completely objectively, because I haven't always been a Jameis Winston supporter. That Buccaneers team that Brady took to the Super Bowl, that was Jameis' squad. Jameis went 30 for 30 with them, and you can make the case that if he didn't throw 30 picks, that same squad might have been in a similar position if Jameis wasn't a turnover machine. But
I mean,
no, you didn't.
We know Jameis is not Tom Brady.
No, you didn't.
We know.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. Look at those rosters. Like all you did was plug and replace Brady and Winston essentially.
I mean,
Yeah,
we did
same
say on this
roster.
show that's all they needed. They needed a better quarterback when he was with the Bucks.
That's
Right,
the
Jalen
difference.
less turnovers.
They-
If Jameis could find a way, if the Lord delivers him from them pick sixes like he is asked, then we might be looking at the next Geno Smith.
Let's not forget like that big game. Remember the game he had or whatever, like
With Denver this year?
one of those games where it was on
The snow jump.
No, the snow game he won, but it was another game where he was like it was like
the one against Denver.
He threw it away. He threw it away.
He threw
the one against Denver with Jerry Jeudy had like a fucking like 300 something yards that game.
Yeah, that was that game.
So,
I do want to address this comment here about Minnesota. I think Rodgers has been linked to Minnesota from what I heard, but everything I've been hearing is that they're ready to move forward with JJ McCarthy.
hold on. Aaron Rodgers wants to follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre again.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Minnesota?
This guy's a loser.
Bro, if I really don't want him to go to Minnesota and follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre anymore, because there's Brett Favre also sent that dick pic or whatever. Also, so we can skip.
Yo, why would you
the rest of this? Aaron Rodgers following in Brett Favre's footsteps.
What are you talking about?
When he was on the Jets, Brett Favre sent that shit to the trainer. I'm not. Brett Favre's not getting off the hook for that shit.
You talking about that? This man stealing welfare checks, and you worried about dick pics? What's wrong with you?
Yo, what the fuck?
Hey, throw that into the fire that is Brett Favre, bro. Throw that into the fire too, bro. He's not getting off the hook for that.
The shit he did with the welfare shit, that is
you should have said that.
That is nasty work, bro. Stealing money from welfare recipients to build an athletic center,
Bro.
Lock that man up.
These are the same guys. Aaron Rodgers told people to take their mask off.
But he was right though.
How was he right? People died.
The vaccine was a false. I ain't take the vaccine. I'm good. I never had COVID.
So okay, so you
based off what you said in the pre-show, G, I don't think you good, bro.
Hey man, you ever got your, you know what I mean, ate so good, she made you work.
Hey, all right, not to get too candy. Let's keep it pushing, man.
You're a freaky boy, yo. You open that door. You're a freaky boy. You a freaky boy.
We're on the subject.
God, I see you.
While we're on the subject of free agency, let me get y'all's thoughts on the biggest free agent signing or trade so far. I'll start off on this one. It's got to be Debo getting traded to my Commanders. I think that's a huge trade. We also signed Jeremy Tunsil, which is another huge move by my Commanders, putting all the chips on the table here, making a big push for the Super Bowl next year. But I don't think there's been a bigger move than us getting Debo. I think that was a real splash move, and a real sign that the Commanders are a legitimate contender. I'm interested to see what y'all's thoughts are though on free agency thus far.
I like Joey Bosa going to the Bills, man. That shit threw me off. I was like, oh shit. Talk about getting Ron, what's his name? Ron Miller up out of there and swapping in Joey Bosa. I like that one right now.
They went from old black pass rusher to old white pass rusher. That's not an upgrade.
Did y'all know the Ravens signed DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, for like 1 year.
Actually,
that's a scary, sleepy, good move.
What is this?
Hey, I took a
Houston
bet.
2022?
Huh?
This is supposed to be Houston from Deshaun Watson's Houston? No, wait, no.
I think the Ravens have a pretty good receiver room already. So if you got to add a guy like D-Hop, who has a large catch radius, jump ball guy, veteran, I think it adds something to the locker room.
Since when?
What do you mean since when?
Yo, so
not last
check
season.
This.
Mahomes obviously we see Mahomes isn't that good, right?
Wait, whoa, what?
We saw that he wasn't that good, right?
Mahomes wasn't that good.
Did y'all watch?
Look, we're not about to sit here and act like an agent.
Was he getting the ball to the receivers or not?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freaky Hour, sponsored by your local freaks, where all you have to do is go to the bar at 12 o'clock at night and buy a drink. Go ahead, Nick.
I
Tell me
remember
how
I
bad
remember
is
DeAndre Hopkins
Patrick
dropping
Mahomes?
easy passes in them playoffs, bruh. But look, and Scruff, you might be interested in this one. I took a bet with my homeboy that's a Ravens fan, right? He told me that DeAndre Hopkins would either have more touchdowns or one less touchdown than Debo Samuels.
Nah,
Would you think that's a fair bet?
no, I think the better comparison would be like to compare him to when Odell was on the Ravens 2 years ago. Like that's what I'm speaking to. I'm not saying he's gonna go. He's
Odell
not gonna
didn't do
go there
shit
and
with
be
the
an all
Ravens
pro
for me.
receiver. He
Will
had
he
a
have more?
presence. He helped people. He helped the locker room. It was good.
You think he'll have more touchdowns than Debo Samuels?
Probably not. But I don't think Debo Samuel is
Oh,
that good.
over under 1,000 yards.
Under.
Over under 5 touchdowns.
Over.
Probably like 5. 5 feels about right.
Under.
Under 5 touchdowns?
Under.
Bro, we can't even call D Hop anymore, man. That old man can't even hop, bro. Like, let's be real. Like this signing with the Ravens is him signing with a team that he hopes makes it to the chip next year because he was he was in the game to get the ring and they lost. Like, he's just playing to get a ring.
There's a couple signings I really did like though. One. I mean, the Debo Jones was cool, I guess, but that's not like in my top 5. I spoke to this a little bit yesterday. The Chargers signed Najee Harris to a 1-year contract, and I think that's a really smart move, and it's a really good move. And the reason I say that is because I was really, I think Bryce actually said, our draft guru, said that Najee Harris is the top 5 running back the minute he gets into the league. I mean, we got to hold you accountable for that too, Mr. Big Leaguer. But maybe that's not true yet. But he hasn't been in the right situation, man. Some reason Pittsburgh just wasn't the right spot for him. But now he joins Jim Harbaugh's team, Greg Roman offense. I know the offense very well because I played in that offense. So I know the offense. That's a running offense. They will run that ball. And it's designed very well. I think he fits the scheme very well. So I think that was a great move. The other move I really liked was Devontae Adams signing with the Rams. You get a good receiver, is a big body receiver. Clearly, Cooper Kupp is they're over that. But now you got someone that could play with Puka. Puka's the number 1 receiver. He is a gifted player. But Devontae Adams is still pretty good. And we just talked about Aaron Rodgers and shit. But like Matt Stafford, that man can throw the rock. He will get you the ball. So I think he's gonna go crazy over there.
No, that's a good one, Scruff. I really like the Adams to the Rams move as well. I think pairing him with Puka, that puts some more tread on the tire, so to speak. I think it's hard to defend both those styles of receiver. So even if you want to say Devontae's aging a little bit, I think pairing him with that offense and with Puka definitely makes him a little bit more valuable. T, what do you think the biggest free agent signing or trading so far was?
Probably Tunsil. Debo's cool. Devontae's cool. I really do like Devontae, Tutu, and Puka, plus the running game.
I think that Devontae Adams move
that's a threat of an offense. You know what I'm saying? That's an offense you want if you're a Madden player. But
that's a good offense. That's a potentially, like, if we're being honest, they almost beat the Eagles. So like they could be in a Super Bowl next year type shit.
And let's not forget McVay as the coach. Like that, yeah. McVay gonna make that shake.
Yeah, McVay can scheme you up. So I'm less concerned about Devontae's age than I am some of these other guys. But Tunsil, I mean, bringing in somebody to protect a young quarterback is invaluable. And we watch Jaden. Part of his game is he's just running all around, and some of that is from need. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of that.
Some of that is because the protection isn't up to par. So imagine if you give that guy a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? He's deadly accurate. He's poised. He appears to have a mastery of the offense. I don't understand how that's not bigger news.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was talking to Bryce about that earlier. I feel like that is the better move. As a Commander fan, that's probably the better move than the Debo trade. The Debo trade is much more flashier and something to talk about. But if you know ball, get in Tunsil. is big time.
Yeah,
I don't even understand why they was getting rid of Tunsil. Like, why do you even trade Tunsil? Like, why would the Houston Texans do that?
He didn't play. He got hurt, and then I think he had allowed like at least, I want to say like at least 10 sacks this year because he was a left guard. He was a left tackle, so he was pretty hurt all year.
Fair enough. You need offensive linemen when you playing in this division, man. Y'all watch Super Bowl, man.
If we take last year as a predictor of this year, I can only think of 2 signings that really moved the needle in any real way, and that was Derrick Henry and Saquon. You know what I'm saying? Two guys that were at the top of their position, regardless of what team they was on. So far, the people getting moved right now, they're not. I mean, Myles Garrett had a chance to move, but other than that, like, he didn't. So the people getting moved right now are pawns. Like, no one's moving a bishop or a rook or a queen. Like, it's a bunch of pawns getting moved around the board. I don't think anybody's made a move that puts them over the top or makes them any better than they were last season. If anything, some of these teams got effectively worse.
Hey, and while we're on that subject, T, I'm glad you.
DK Metcalf was like a big thing for the Steelers.
I think he's overrated.
I don't think that's a needle mover either. To T's point, I don't think that says that the Steelers are gonna win the AFC North. You know what I'm saying? Does it make them a little bit better? Sure.
You got 2 guys that are really good at running straight. So good luck. It could work.
But to T's point about teams getting worse, and this is a moment in the show I've been waiting for. I'm gonna need you to defend your 49ers right quick. You know, I'm gonna give you the floor because they have a laundry list of players that they have released. Some of whom you've named after Hall of Fame safeties. Some of whom you said don't produce or haven't produced, that didn't play much this season, and all this. You know, but for my count, the 49ers have cut about 6 or 7 players, but they did sign a wide receiver. Whose name I've already forgotten because that's how insignificant that signing was. But maybe you can enlighten me. Last place team, you know, you're a big supporter. We've all been saying the window's closed on the 49ers. T, please explain to me why the window is not closed.
I'll start in reverse order. That receiver is DeMarcus Robinson, who stepped in for Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua when both of those guys missed significant time. Brandon Ayuk will miss significant time. So, you know, this is a guy that can come in if maybe Pearsall gets hurt or, you know, isn't playing up to expectations. But it's just a vet piece. I mean, also, you touched on we lost a lot of guys. We didn't lose one Pro Bowler. We didn't lose one guy. We didn't lose one guy that received a Pro Bowl vote last year. We didn't lose one guy.
Yeah, last year because y'all sucked.
I was gonna say, how many Pro Bowlers did you have last year?
And if you
ain't Greenlaw make a Pro Bowl before?
No, they made Pro Bowls before. But what did they do last year?
Nothing, because y'all was trash.
I don't. Your job doesn't give you a bonus based on what you did Q1 2003. You know, like that's not how this thing works. What have you done for me lately? We were a 6-win team. And half the guys that got released did not play. Half those guys, if you combine all the guys that the 49ers let go, and not including Debo, because that was a trade, you might get 18 games between them all. Might. Mitchell didn't play. Huff played like 6 games. Hargrave only had 7 tackles. Like, what you think we could get a guy? We can get a guy from NFL Europe to get 7 tackles. All right.
How many tackles did he have the season before y'all signed him? Just curious.
He had the season before, and
he's not a guy that gets a lot of tackles, if we're being honest.
No, he had it. These are 60s off the top of my head.
Maybe that was good. You said 60?
Yeah,
it's spot on.
Let me phrase it like this then, T. Was Dre Greenlaw, when healthy, a starter?
Yes. He's honestly the only person.
That's the real question: is how many starters did y'all lose?
We lost. Well, what was interesting?
Kyle Juszczyk, Debo Samuel, Leonard Floyd, Javon Hargrave, all starters, right?
No, Hargrave didn't play. I mean, he was a
started for
starter,
y'all.
but
Was he a starter when he was healthy?
Was he a starter?
We
The
played with
opening
our
day,
fifth-
he was a starter.
we played with our 5th D tackle last year. Like,
Okay, but
When
you're talking about after
when
injury.
Greenlaw got off the injury report, didn't he get inserted into the starting lineup?
and he got hurt again.
Greenlaw was a starter.
He got off the injury report. and
Hufanga
played
was a
2.5
starter.
quarters of amazing football and was injured again.
Right. So he put his body on the line, and y'all just cut bait.
Ward was a starter, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Ward was a starter, and Ward, sentimentally, I want him to stay, but there's no denying what our young corners did last season. There's no denying that.
I don't even
counting
think these are
6 starters.
necessarily.
Yeah, we
I
lost.
don't even think these are necessarily all bad moves, but it does signify the window closing, bro. I mean, like if you lose 6 starters, regardless of if they were hurt for most of the season or not, yeah, it's you can say it's time to move on from some of these players, but I'm not convinced that y'all are not last place again in 2025.
The guys that in order of priority, we didn't lose. We didn't lose CMC. We didn't lose Fred Warner. We didn't lose Trent Williams. We didn't lose George Kittle.
I mean, CMC was hurt. Why didn't y'all might as well cut him? That's the reason for cutting everybody else.
And that's the reason why, the losses are concerning, but I feel like those guys that you name outside of Fred Warner, and I think Kittle's still really good. Like McCaffrey.
Hold on. Yeah. I just named 4 guys in the top 5 of their position.
Yeah, but Trent Williams is pretty fucking old, man.
He's still.
And McCaffrey riding on 4 flats.
Take it up with PFF and all these other rating systems.
No, I think Trent is still a dog. I would say he's still top 5 left tackles, but to your point though, like he didn't play much either. I mean, he was out there, but he was also out there hurt. Right. CMC, we all know, missed a ton of time.
People aren't taking into account, and the Commanders and the Giants fans won't really know too much about this. When your team plays until January annually, my guys haven't had a full off season in 4 or 5 years. This is the first time this team's had a full off season to get healthy, to recover. They literally said, bro, they felt like after the season, they had 5 weeks before they had to start training again.
Well, that's going to serve the other teams well since half your roster just went out the door.
I think if you pick up some of those guys, I think if you pick up Ward, Greenlaw, Banks, Moore, you're going to get production out of them. But for what they wanted to get paid and for what they produce, we're not paying you for potential. If that was the case, you would meet your girl and you would marry her in the first week. Potential. I heard.
Nah, you know what's happening? You know what's really happening with San Francisco right now?
Wait.
You're cutting all these starters so you can pay Brock Purdy. Yep. And that is going to be the biggest mistake that San Francisco makes. Once Brock Purdy gets that huge contract, that is not just the window closing, but is the window locking and spray painting BP on it because you are now owned by Brock Purdy.
I'll say this.
How much are they going to pay Brock Purdy?
Too much.
You told me. I mean, yeah, for sure.
What's the number?
Give a number.
I think they'll pay him top 3 money.
Give me a number.
If he, I'll tell you this because I told you how I felt about him last week. He's between 10 and 15 in terms of rankings.
So give me
he's going to be paid between 1 and 5, so that's not good.
Okay. So all right.
My math skills tell me that's not good.
Since we won't give a number, let's say he gets paid between 1 and 5.
I was 50 a year.
All right.
50 was the number.
50 is fair to me. If you pay him 50, right? And in 2 years, where will that 50 be for quarterbacks? Considering the guys
it'll be middle of the pack, but in 2 years, will the 49ers be middle of the pack?
You said what?
I said in 2 years, that contract will be middle of the pack, but in 2 years, will the 49ers be middle of the pack?
No,
because you'll be lucky to be.
How about this? Who's the last quarterback that won on his rookie contract?
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes, right?
Who's the last quarterback before that?
They won on his rookie?
Yep.
Tom Brady.
Russell Wilson. So
that's true. And then Big Ben.
Okay, so we got 3 quarterbacks in the span of over 30 years. And you're telling me that paying your quarterback is not the answer.
No. You're trying to switch the
mask
narrative
is my
here.
favorite.
I didn't say paying your quarterback is not the answer. I'm saying paying Brock Purdy is not the answer. Y'all gonna pay Brock Purdy, and you gonna try to tell me this contract in a couple years will be middle of the pack, which I agree with, but which won't be middle of the pack is the 49ers, because they're bottom of the pack right now, and there's no way out of that when you cut 6 to 7 starters to pay a guy that just proved he can't carry that team when those 6 to 7 guys are hurt and can't play.
How many rings Lamar Jackson got?
Hey, you know who else won on his
How many
rookie
Super
contract?
Bowl appearances does Lamar Jackson have?
Less than Brock Purdy, which is all the more reason for Brock Purdy to get that bag.
Listen, man, y'all can say what you want. To win a Super Bowl, you need a team. We watch Justin Hurts ain't no world beater. You can't swap Justin Hurts with
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts,
Justin
my bad.
Fields.
You don't even gotta know you don't even need the guy's
Right.
name.
Same guy.
Yeah, like Justin.
Hey, I stand behind my take, which is that Hurts is better than Purdy, and you can't tell me no different.
When Hurts didn't have Hurts just had a season for you guys to draft a high draft pick. He literally just had that season. Hurts just had a season that got coaches fired. That's how you got here. You don't remember that?
I mean, we still made the playoffs.
You did not make the playoffs.
Yes, we did.
Y'all just drafted like number 13?
The year before, they were one and done. They got bounced out by y'all were like
that wasn't our pick though. That was from the Saints.
Oh, that was somebody else's pick. Okay.
Yeah. We smart. We hustled. We traded Wentz. That's all from the Wentz trade.
Oh, you might let me forget.
Who, by the way, is another quarterback that went on his rookie deal. He didn't play, but
I also got hustled for a Wentz pick. So my bad.
It's okay. So did the Commanders.
I mean,
that's funny.
And the Colts.
Y'all are worried about Purdy. You need to be worried about can Jaden Daniels win on his rookie deal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the stage you're in. If everybody needs this magical rookie deal because you can't pay players, which is a myth. I watched the Rams pay every single person possible, including the quarterback.
It's not that I don't think you can pay the quarterback and still build a team. Is that it's easier to do that when you're on the rookie contract. The thing is, y'all lucked into Brock Purdy, right? So you already had the team built. Brock Purdy all of a sudden is a good enough quarterback to get you where you need to go, but you got to go there while the team is already assembled, because you can't keep that team assembled and then pay him. The Commanders are in a different situation because we're like, hey, we just got our guy. Let's disassemble this shitty team that we had and reassemble it into some real shit, and that's what they're currently doing. So that's why I feel like the sky's the limit with my Commanders, and why even when it comes time to pay Jaden, we'll already be in a better situation.
49ers drafted 4 guys that will be starting next year, and starting because they were better than the guys that we let go. We have 11 picks this year. You think we can't find somebody to replace Deebo Samuel's 600 yards? 600 yards.
I am interested to see what the 49ers do, because like you said, y'all have been a contender for quite some time. First real offseason, so I am interested to see how they rebuild this.
Y'all got to hit on those draft picks.
I'm taking all bets. Lost and finding. If you want to lost and find yourself broke, bet me on the Niners. All right. I'm taking all bets. I'm ready to go to war about my Niners. We suited up. We booted up. You name the bet. That's how I'm feeling.
Hey, you on your Stephen A. shit? Stephen A. Smith shit right now.
That's how I'm feeling. Hey, y'all, you can bet against Purdy all you want. You betting against Kyle Shanahan. You betting against the franchise. You betting against.
I know y'all not winning the West next year. I already know that.
Winning the West.
Yeah, y'all ain't winning the NFC West. Y'all are not getting past the Rams, bruh.
Small potatoes, man. Small potatoes.
I think they would, because that's all depending all on one quarterback's health. If he could stay healthy, then it's gonna be tough sledding for the 49ers. But if he gets hurt, who's the backups for the Rams?
Bro, Jimmy G, they just said.
49ers are
you worried about Jimmy G via the 49ers? They're gonna fucking kill.
Are you worried about Jimmy G? No, like, are we talking about the backup? What team are you worried about their backup quarterback? What team loses? What team starter goes down and you feel like Ooh, I'm worried about the backup quarterback. None of them.
Bro,
Exactly my point.
I am worried about Stafford.
So what are you talking about? You talking about hypothetically if the dude gets hurt? Bro, the
Why-
Rams
see,
team
why-
is literally the opposite of what y'all are.
Why was
They
you
have
worried about
weapons.
Stafford going down?
They have a young defense.
Listen, Stafford is old. I'm old. I literally just fell over and dislocated my shoulder. Stafford is old.
Hey, Stafford is old. He be in them bad commercials with his wife.
Listen,
Hey, yo, he be still zanging them shits though, bro. 2 years ago, he just won the Super Bowl.
bro.
And I would say at this age, he still has one of the best arms in the league.
Stafford arm talent is crazy. It's always been crazy. But where did we go?
Technical difficulty.
Too much.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Doge cutting off the electricity.
They even changed my social media handle. That's crazy.
Duh!
That boy can't.
Ladies,
Now
men
that's
with many
out
faces.
right
We just jump timelines, fellas.
Right.
Hey, listen. I didn't even realize we was at 120. Hey,
No bullshit.
we got a
Right.
long,
Let's wrap this up.
long way till the season start. We can set the terms. We got plenty more shows. Watch the draft the 49ers have, man. It's not gonna be sexy. It's gonna be meat and potatoes, and that's what you need to get a Super Bowl.
We gonna see. Good organizations reload through the draft, and I feel like that's what Philly about to do. But like the sheer amount of people that have left y'all shit is a lot, bro. It's not normal.
Hey, man, if the fan base ain't crying, you should know.
Hey, well, we definitely gonna stay tapped in. The NFL draft is it's a little closer than it probably feels. But before we get to that, we're gonna be talking about March Madness, man. So all the fans out there, shout out Lost and Finding. Definitely stay tapped in. If you're still with us, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tune in next week. We'll have another great show.
Hey, T, he just offered you dinner at his restaurant.
No, dinner for two.
But what you gonna give him when you wrong?
Oh shit!
When the 49ers win, I need to come and cook a dinner for two in your restaurant. I'm not. All right. Follow me on Snapchat. Hey, they know.
Hey, Vera, what's your restaurant, man? Free publicity right now. We can give him a shout out.
Yeah. Hey, the bet is the 49ers will make the playoffs, but maybe you agree with me. I don't know.
Oh, they definitely not making no playoffs.
And you name them out. $100, $200, which one?
I'm kind of interested to see what the restaurant is, man. I might have to pull up.
We literally waiting on this man to type back. Here we go. The Office Bistro, Irvington, VA. Where Irvington, VA?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It don't matter. I can drive.
I know Irvington, New Jersey. That's what I know.
Hey,
you don't want to go there.
No, hell no. Don't go there.
Don't ever go there. You ain't got no business being up there.
Pull up to the Office Bistro and let them know the 49ers are making the playoffs. All right.
Oh, that joint out there.
Until you tell them the 49ers are making the playoffs.
Shit, T, that joint damn near Richmond.
3 hours.
That's not too bad. I was gonna say I can make that into a trip.
3 hours south of DC.
We gonna shoot a live taping from the bistro.
Hey,
I'll be down.
Hey.
All right, man. We got something going here.
All right, man. I'm coming from Jersey, so hope the food is good.
All right, man. This has been a fun one, man. We'll be in touch. Y'all definitely got to tap in with us next week as well, man. Y'all know how we end every show. Sports for the culture.